Hey everybody, it's me, Budget Matt Damon. I've been told that vertical is only for street fights, so we're trying to film this better. Anyhow, we're on our way to my Lieutenant Cutkay's house. If you hear me call him a lieutenant or Lou, that's because he's my lieutenant. But his name is Nick. I'll try to remember that. We're going to go make a machete for Dave. Alright, so here we are at Nick Cutkay's. This is the saw blade that we're going to use. Why are we using a saw blade?
The metal is good metal. It already has a spring temper. Flexes really well. It's not going to bend. It's not going to break. It's tempered to the right point for a repurposed sugarcane blade. We're going to take this old handsaw, take it apart, cut it up a little bit, put a handle on it, make a sugarcane knife that's nice and thin.
So you said you looked up sugarcane stuff and it was a 1/16 of an inch or thinner, right?
Well, I've never made one, so when I looked up the history of a sugarcane knife, they said that the metal was typically less than a 1/16 of an inch thick, so that it would go through the sugarcane pretty easily. I have some metal that's a little thicker than a 1/16, but thinking about what would work well, found some old hand saws. They're already heat treated. All we have to do is kind of cut without disturbing this line right here with heat, so that it maintains its spring temper. We'll cut with a cutoff wheel on the spine, which really won't affect it much. We'll have to probably heat with a torch to drill these holes out. Metal's probably going to be too hard to send a drill bit through, so if you heat it up, run the colors, you should get it back to soft enough to drill through.
Totally vegan, non-GMO, organic, grass-fed saw blade.
I believe it's made in America too. Let me find
out. Oh, well.
It's probably got a symbol on here somewhere. Made in America somewhere.
We'll just edit that into the...
Well, either way, wherever the metal came from is about to be repurposed in America.
Start on this end. Yeah, cut right here first. Alright, Brian, notice the sparks? See how they burst at the end? That lets you know there's a lot of carbon in the metal. Carbon's what you need to be hard. All the way to the top. All right. Cool. So you saw the sparks in it. That lets you know that the metal is definitely suitable to use. It's got a lot of carbon in it.
Okay. Great. Shape is cut out. Woo. We're going to grind the rest of it.
It's going to stiffen up some. Once you put the handle on it here, the wood, this will still have some flex, but notice how much more.
Right.
It's not, from here to here, it's not going to flex that much.
Don't forget, safety first.
Safety first.
All right.
Cutting away cutting away the fat. You're going to have to finish this with a file anyways after the epoxy dries. So I'm just trying to get it down to a more manageable size so when you go to file it, it's not that much material. Drop in the lock. Make sure everything's about where you want it. The first one really doesn't matter. Second one really doesn't matter. It's the third one that matters. So if they're not lined up, the third one will always be the one that pretty much is out of alignment. Alright. So there's one side, right? Now we got a mark. Pencil go. Okay. Alright. So we'll come to this side. So this is about where I wanted to end the handle like that. So do about like that, okay. So there's the first half of the scale, right? Doesn't look like much now, but it will. This is going to be the inside for this side. So we'll get it where we want it. So that's about right there. So do the first one. I always leave myself a bunch of extra space on the handles. Sometimes they slide when you're pinning them. So if you always leave yourself some fat, you're going to grind away you're going to grind it to the metal anyways. Alright, so now, what we got to do, Brian, we got to drill this one, alright? I didn't drill it on the other side. What we'll do is we'll have the one hole, it will become the pilot
hole.
After everything's epoxied. Then you'll just send a drill bit all the way through to open it up.
So you want to give it just a little bit of I'm going to just give the top just a hair of bevel to peen into so the metal has somewhere to expand to. And if you peen it, like I said, if you peen it too hard, you're going to crack the wood. So you kind of got to be careful. So we're going to take this 1/4 inch will work, right? We just want to make a little bit, kind of just run it in the hole just a hair, just to open up the hole a little bit. Just to give it some so you want that mechanical friction to hold these on. And you don't want to sand that all away when you're cleaning up the handle, right? So you want to have somewhere for it to recess down into so that you don't sand it all away. So that you have that expanded head that friction pulls the two pieces together. We're going to epoxy it, but you still, with something that you're going to chop with, you want some kind of mechanical fastening happening. Run them through the holes so they line up. Alright, they're lined up. All we're going to do, everything's lined up, turn this on, cut the fat away. The wood has plenty of space to grab onto with the different pores of the grain and stuff. It will have. With metal, I have to, like when I'm putting G10 or something, plastic on metal, right. I normally got to rough it up with like 50 grit or something like that, and give it something to bite onto. But wood has a lot of space on it, a lot of surface tension. All right, so fill all that in.
Fill those in. Alright. Alright, hold this for a second. I'll hold this. You get the pin still? Alright, there we go. Drop the pins in. Drop the pins in without dropping it through my hardy hole. Line everything up.
You need this to hammer it?
No, I don't need that to hammer it, but thank you. That last one, okay. Rub that off. We'll just squeeze out a little bit more. Mix on site. Alright, I'll just take it, mix it all around. Watch out now and back up, sweetie. Little helpers. They're always there to
You
help.
want this to hold it?
Well, thank you, though, but no, I do not want that piece of my anvil stand to hold it. And I normally just take it, I keep it light around the front because it's going to squeeze out. I'm going to wipe that away. And just get this all in. Alright.
He's never making. He's making.
Alright. So, got to move it onto the anvil a little bit. And so just real lightly, just kind of do one side, get a little bit of movement. Then that one's a little longer. Stop, stop, stop. Alright, then you don't go all the way because you need some on the other side. Then you do it over here. You just do it nice and light. You don't need to really kill it when doing this. You just need to deform the metal enough to expand into the space that you've given for it to work. And like I said, you don't want to go too much with wood because you can crack it very easily.
Hello. So, we finished the handle, we sanded everything down. We sanded the wood down all the way to the tang, put a nice bevel on it, and now we're going to blacken it a little bit to give it some style. As proper millennials, we want everything to be new but look really old. Kind of like that. We'll give it another light sand, oil it, and we'll ship it on its way.